Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We have here Kuleba, who is going to say certain things that I think he's so ignorant that the rocks are laughing. First, let's start with this. I'm not a novice in history, in knowing anything about history, but his lesson of history for me is unheard of, and I'm not so unfamiliar with what he's talking about than in such a way that I could be just fooled with whatever claims he makes. That's the first one. Kuleba, let me show you who this guy is right here. So Kuleba, he makes some claims, and not only claims, but he starts the whole conversation from a point of power, point of view of power, where power dictates, and who has the upper hand must or has the right to dictate to other countries. Now that's dangerous, because remember, Kuleba, I think, and this is something that occurred to me after I read so many statements made by the leaders, the guys at the top in Ukraine, the guys in charge, and I realized these guys really think that they are important. They really think that they are important, as the West likes to have them appear to be. It's just a temporary position you have now, because right now you're taking it hard. After they are done with you, they don't want to hear from you anymore. They will reconstruct you, if you know what I mean. So in this case, Kuleba is going to make some statements. Let's read the article, and let's discuss these statements. I think he's not the smartest cookie or the brightest or the sharpest tool in the toolbox, I gotta tell you that. But it's no surprising. Why? Because I'm familiar with his previous statements. All right. The new voice of Ukraine. This is the headline. Ukraine to determine what will happen to Russia in the future. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Kuleba says. So why? If you think that another country should determine what happens with another country, then you should have been okay with Russia or other countries determining what's happening to your country. Is that how the way it works? Now, to think that Ukraine will have that power to be able to make decisions on what happened to Russia in the future, this is, I don't know, paranoid thought. Or you think you're just you're the center of the universe and nobody can live without you, and that also is a narcissistic trait. But based on how Zelensky is received by everyone, and he appears everybody adulates him, yeah, they think they are the center of the universe. Well, you're not, my friends. You'll find out. But I don't care. They will have their money, if you know what I mean. Now, let's quote Mr. Kuleba, Dmitry Kuleba. If previously Russia, as an empire, determined the fate of Ukraine from, and I'm quoting, the point of view of Europe, from Europe, now Ukraine as part of Europe will determine the fate of the Russian Empire, the diplomat predicted. So, if it was not okay, Russia, to determine the fate of Ukraine, why the same thing would be, how should I put it, good from the other guys doing the same thing that you don't like? So if you don't want to be bossed around by someone, you obviously say here that it's okay for you to boss around if you have the power. Now he's kind of like, let's move on, and I'm going to come back to this. And I'm quoting Kuleba. In fact, 30 years of history will be burning on its head. Well, that would be like what? 1700s? What is he exactly talking about? But anyway, he didn't make a point, but maybe he makes later. According to the Ukrainian foreign minister, so he is the foreign minister of Ukraine. He is the counterpart of Sergei Lavrov, Dr. Jaishankar of India, Wang Yi, that is not anymore, of China, and the Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter Jarto. So he is of the same level with those. Do you think so? I definitely don't think so. I tell you at what level he is. He is the level of Miss Lazy Lizard Truss. That's gone. He is at the with former Foreign Minister of Great Britain, unfortunately. He is at the level of Annabella Baerbock, the current Foreign Minister of Germany, unfortunately. And he is at the level of Antony Blinken, the current Foreign Minister, Secretary of State of the United States of America. That's the level, that's the team versus the other class. And I'm always going to say that based on how and what those guys say. Listen to them. Anyway, let's move back. If someone is intelligent and someone is not intelligent, if my father is not intelligent, I will definitely say, oh, Jesus Christ, he's not that intelligent. If my neighbor or my enemy is intelligent, even if I don't like it, I will still know and say, this mofo is really intelligent right here. If my father is a coward, I would notice that. If my enemy is courageous, I will notice that. You know what I mean? There are some values that transcend the weasel. Oh, it's our or it's theirs. That's an objective value. So in this case, objectively, this guy is a very low non-value. But he's the foreign minister of Ukraine. I know. Let's see what else this weasel is saying. So he said like this. According to the Ukrainian foreign minister, in the past, the Russian Empire was created by the French, Germans, and Ukrainians. Now here is where history for me is like, I'm learning something new, or this guy pulls my leg. I think the second option is true. Boop, I picked that one. And now these parties must jointly decide what to do with it. Now let me tell you something here. Russia was an empire. You can call it, okay, it is an empire. How we want to call it? What about France? What about Germany? What are you talking about? These guys, the French and the Germans, were an empire. Not the Germans necessarily, but how you want to take it? The French were empires. What are you talking? Napoleon was an emperor, not an emperor of a kingdom. Otherwise, they would have a king, I think. No? What about the Germans? They have a Kaiser. You know what a Kaiser is? Emperor. Okay. How about the Great Britain? Great Britain have a king, but were they just a kingdom? Or they were an empire? The British Empire, oh my God, the name says it. So sometimes don't have to be, caught in Russian Empire or Kaiser or kings or something like this. The fact is, these guys, France and Germany, were empires bigger than Russia in the whole history. I'm talking about the duration. And countries and continents and people that they subjugated. And Great Britain as well. Now you think about Ukrainians. What do you mean about Ukraine? He says, according to Ukrainian foreign minister, in the past, the Russian Empire was created by French, Germans, and Ukrainians. What do you mean? The Ukrainians sat down at the table with the Germans and French and created a Russian Empire? Even if you take it as nationalities. Oh, maybe these nationalities live in Ukraine, live in Soviet Union, live in the Tsarist Russia. What is this guy talking about? And now these parties must jointly decide what to do with it. With Russia? Why? Why do you think this should be the universe's law? Why do you think this the way it should be decided? And besides, France, I understand, okay, France is a country with a long history, a country. It was not formed, in 1918. Germany, again, is a country, was formed a little bit earlier, right? With the help of a certain kind of individuals, remember? And now we have Ukraine, which was formed when as a country, as an entity? When was it formed? Go and look at the history of Ukraine. And the first recognition of a Ukrainian state, as with institutions, with all state, with borders, with all that, I think is in 1918. I think, just go and check. That's when they decided, after the First World War, that Ukraine would be an independent state. Oh, great. Excellent. Fine fuckingly. And then what did you do? You got swallowed by whom? By Mr. Bronstein. Wasn't he Bronstein? Bronstein? Oh, sorry. Trotsky. Trotsky was the defense minister. He was in charge of the Red Army. He founded the Red Army, if I remember correctly. The Bolsheviks, they swallowed you back. You call that Russian Empire? By Trotsky? Trotsky was not Russian. By Stalin? Stalin was not Russian. Lenin was Russian? Who was Russian? Give me the names. Don't give me the ones from after 1960 something, 66. Don't give me Brezhnev and start from there. Because the gulags and all the crimes, the purges, all that occurred before under the Stalin, Trotsky, Kaganovich, Yagoda, all Russians. I mean, I'm just saying names. And not only names that they were like, scraping the floor in the Kremlin. No, they were big shots. Go and check their names. So again, what is this guy talking about? And then you stayed unindependent the whole time until 1991, right? 93? I think it was 1993. You became independent as a country. So what are you talking about, 300 years? What do you mean the Germans, the French, and the Ukrainians decided? What did they decide? The Soviet Union? What the hell are you talking about? And besides, put that aside. Okay, he's an ignorant. Or maybe he just he talks, BS. But let's put it differently. Look at his attitude. His attitude is that now France and Germany and Ukraine, man, the greatest country in the world and in Europe nowadays, Ukraine. They will decide what's going on in Europe and with Russia, with little Russia. Yeah, they will, like Trump, China. Right? So that's how it goes. I thought it's all about democracy, about human rights, about self-determination. I thought it was about United Nations. I thought that we all decide together. How come you think that you and other empires, former empires, decide on what this empire would be? Okay, that's an empire. How many military bases does this empire have outside of its territory? I'm listening, Kuleba. 2? I know one is in Syria, in Tartu or whatever it's called, and the other one I think is Kazakhstan, where they have the ramps to send their rockets in space. I don't remember having another one, but I know another country that's not an empire, and actually that's the only force of the good of this planet that was decided and elected by nobody, and that is the United States of America. It has hundreds of military bases all around this planet because everybody wants them over there to defend them. We want you here, so you defend us from these enemies that you told us they are our enemies. Thank you very much. Kuleba, I think you're not only you have to make a choice. You are either an ignorant, and that I would say, okay, it's better to be an ignorant than to be a weasel and a knowing what's going on and saying these kind of things. Your worldview is dangerous. Now I would ask the West, who support or that which whatever support this guy. Is that the right way? That sounds to me like an eye for an eye, and that's not Christian as far as I remember. What is it? Huh? All right, a Christian would be different. So Kuleba, as far as I know, he's a Christian. So how can he think like that? Do you agree with that? Now, if you agree with that, then look at the Russians and use the same thing on the Russian side. Do you think the Russians should be entitled to do that? Or do you think the Romanians should be entitled to do that? Or maybe the Hungarians? And say, hey, Ukraine, you kind of have some territories that were taken from us, right? Remember? They were taken from us and given to you. Mocha, nothing. How about those? Kuleba is, as I stated already 50 times. That's the way he is. And this is the one foreign minister that we support. How is that? As long as is necessary or something, as long as we can or as long as it takes. Not me. But I have to. I pay taxes. My taxes go to Kuleba, partly. Support his... Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.